Heyo, welcome to OmniBros Live. That's right, tonight, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's OmniBros Live with me, OmniDog, as your co-host, along with the Omnibus Collector, Riley, talking from his phone because he couldn't find his charger for a second. Riley, how's it going?
I found my charger.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yes, so I'm just booting up my computer right now, and I'll be back to normal soon. I'm sure that my mic is not as strong, but I'm getting there.
Tyler Trent, thank you for saying that. Last night, Luis and I had conflicting schedules, and we're doing it tomorrow night, Friday night. We're doing the Wednesday show on a Friday. So thank you, Tyler, for saying that you missed us. I appreciate it. And that's a shot of Riley's Buffy books.
It's important. Sorry, my dog is trying to eat all the packing peanuts.
My dog does that too.
I guess she likes them, and I'm also hoping they're non-toxic. I'm pretty sure they're not, because I've seen people eat them. Damn it.
Well, this will be a good time for me to talk about InStockTrades.com. InStock Trades, where your collected editions can be up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add an extra 2%. A lot of times they have an extra 3% sale going on. They have an OmniBros code every quarter. Over $50 in the United States gets you free shipping. Fabulous service, fabulous customer, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. Almost made it. Damn it.
Didn't you get a theme song?
I do. Tonight it's going to be Battle of the Jingles.
So I have my lyrics. I just don't have music.
I don't either. I'm just singing it to the tune of Mr. Plow.
Oh. Well, that works.
Yeah, I didn't get official music for it.
You lied to me.
Well, it's at the end of the month when Nathan gets a chance.
Sure, that's what they all say.
They all do?
Say Nathan's going to do it.
Oh, well, he is going to do it.
Sure.
He said he would.
All right, my computer's booted up. I'm just trying to open up the thing so I can chat with you on there instead of on my rinky-dink camera with the little lens flare.
I see that. It's like from Turok Dinosaur Hunter on the N64 lens flare.
I'm brought to you by, what's his name? J.J. Abrams.
Is he famous for lens flare?
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Whoa.
Freaky. Taylor Brown just said the same thing. Is J.J. Abrams known for his lens flare?
I thought that was like the thing that everyone knew him for.
I don't pay that much attention, I guess.
Yeah,
I just watch the movies.
He has, if you watch like his Star Trek, and he got better about it with Star Wars, but both of them have pretty gnarly lens flare effects. Like it's like, okay, that's cool. Also Super 8, that movie he did, he does it a lot there. And at first you're like, oh, that's a neat effect. The lens flare, neat. I've never seen that. And then by the time you get to the end of one of his movies, you're like, wow, it's like when you just learned how to do something in your photo manipulation class, and then everything you do has that same manipulation.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, now that you said it, I won't be able to not see it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm up to snuff now. I'm set. We can talk about cool things now. So, what do you hate? I'll tell you something that I hate. So
Good.
This has nothing to do with comics. Like it's geeky, but it's nothing to do with comics. So I'm really easy for people to sell stuff to me. I might have mentioned that before, but like if I go in somewhere and they're trying to upgrade me on something and they're like, it's only $5 more, I'll be like, yeah, sure. Especially because I know, like, usually if they're trying to upgrade, I know that employee is getting some sort of rating or some sort of, matrix based on what they're selling. And I'm like, if I like the guy, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll help him out. So obviously, if I go into GameStop, the thing is the Power Up Rewards card. And I know as a former employee that you do, like, at least when I was there, they kept track of how many of those that you sold. Millie's trying to eat my Sandman doll. So anyway, I'll go in there and as an employee, like they give you the Power Up Rewards already, but it expired since I left the company. And I went in and they sold me on getting it again. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll pay the, whatever. And I got it. And then they added a new thing called Power Up Rewards Elite. And it's like you get an extra 10% off plus all these other like sweet bonus things. And I went in and the same guy that sold me on the normal one again sold me on the Elite one. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it's cool because you save like 20% on your games. So like, for instance, this game that I picked up today, instead of $56.99, I got it, $45.59.
Was that Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah, I was talking about that before.
You got me wanting to play that.
Yeah, you should go get a Elite Pro membership and buy this for $45.59. Anyway, so the thing that pisses me off though is I sign up for Elite Pro, I get really excited. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna be buying a lot of games this year because I want to catch up on some old stuff. And I go in on Friday to GameStop, and the guy was like, "Oh man, they discontinued Elite Pro."
What? You just signed up for it?
Yeah, I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he's like, "Don't worry. You're still going to get your complete year. Like, you're going to have it until next year in, like, July or whatever it was. You'll get the benefits," which is awesome because a lot of people, you can't sign up for it right now, and you can't renew it either. So a lot of people are running out of their membership from last year, and they're upset because they can't renew it.
Well, sucks to be me. I can't get it then.
Yeah. So, yeah, it does suck to be you. So anyway, and I even got this cool card, like a membership card and everything that they gave me. I felt cool. And I felt like a real cool dude for like a week until they told me they discontinued the program. And it's like, yeah, it's cool because I get to benefit from it for the next year. But whenever that runs out, I'm going to be used to paying less for my games. And then I'm going to have to pay more for my games. I don't want to pay more for it. Yeah, look, I got my Power Up Rewards Elite Pro membership card. It's cool. Anyway, so that's a thing that pisses me off. And I'm happy that, yes, I did benefit in that I renewed or I signed up for it like right as they were about to discontinue it. So I do get a full year when most people don't. And I still get the 20% off of pre-owned games for the rest of the year. And that's usually what I buy is pre-owned anyway. But it's still annoying.
Your car's in the way.
You can use my car.
Where are your keys?
In my pocket. Here. Here.
She's gonna...
All right, so that's that.
Okay, right on, man. That's what you hate?
That I hate that I can't continue to save 20% on my used games. I know people are probably like, why are you even shopping at GameStop anymore? Well, because the ones near me have really cool people in them, and I like going in there and talking to them about video games. It's like sitting here and talking to you about comic books. I can go in there and sit with them and talk about video games.
Well, then I think it's worth it.
I do too. It's worth the human interaction because I don't always get to interact with humans who aren't yelling at me for something.
I get it.
So what do you hate today?
Let me think. I hate, well, this is kind of a small hate, but I have a Kodo figure over there. My Batman collection right there.
Yeah.
Artifacts. And I dropped Alfred, and one of his feet is missing. And I've got a gray carpet, and he's got white shoes. And how in the world can a white shoe not show up on this gray carpet? I hate that. Because now he's like leaning up, and he's got nothing to serve. Whatever he had in his hand is missing, and that was like a San Diego Comic-Con special thing, and I am botching it all up. So I hate myself for dropping it.
I hate myself too, but that just in general.
We were saying we hate ourselves because we buy a lot of books and then don't get to read them yet.
Yeah, I did say in the chat, I was like, but I said it the other way around. I said, I hate when people buy a bunch of books and then don't read them. And I was like myself, because I bought like fucking 100 volumes of manga and I haven't read any of them.
Yeah, and I've got this.
Well, I can see some Fantastic Four by Hickman that I know you read.
Yes. And I read today, I finished Hickvengers 2 and Secret Wars. So
you fucking blazed through that today.
I really did.
Like you were talking like when I was at work in the office today, you mentioned something about being at the halfway point on Hickvengers 2.
Yeah.
Like you were starting the time runs out portion because you were like, what the fuck's going on? And then by the time that I was at home and I was going to GameStop after work, I saw you talking about that you liked how the Thing was in Secret Wars, and I was like, wait, did Jess already read Secret Wars? What the hell?
I burned through the half that I hadn't read in Hickvengers, and then I burned through Secret Wars to tell me what I read in Hickvengers. Anybody out there that hasn't read Hickvengers 2, you really got to read Secret Wars to understand what the heck you just read in Hickvengers 2, because there's no, as Omar says, an editor's note would have been helpful to tell you that there was an 8-month time leap in the middle of the whole thing, which there's no indication of whatsoever. I'm like writing people on the group saying, what, are we on an alternate Earth? What just happened here? Why is Reed with a beard and a blue suit when he was just in a red suit? And how's the Cabal on Earth? And wait, what's happening here? And it was just, I got confused and just went with it. And then Secret Wars tied everything up.
You gotta, it's like you said with the X-Men books, you just gotta go with it.
Yeah.
But so I read all of that in singles. I read almost everything that Hickman put out at Marvel as it was coming out in singles. And when Time Runs Out started, there was a lot of, like, if I recall correctly, a lot of advertisement coming out from Marvel talking about Time Runs Out. And they were talking, like, there was a lot of different literature that popped up talking about the 8-month jump and stuff like that. So they made it very apparent, like at the time, at the time that the books were about to be shipped, in the months leading up, they made it very, very apparent that Time Runs Out was going to be a thing and what it was. And so I think that as a reader then, I didn't realize, because they had been telling me in all these adverts and all these different like things in all the other single issues that were coming out, I didn't realize that they don't tell you what's going on in the actual book. I didn't catch that because I didn't. I guess it's a different experience in the single issues, and that's, I suppose you could say, a benefit of reading in singles instead of in the collection is knowing like all the news that's coming out and what everything is and what they're doing. But I'm glad that you made your way through it, and I'm glad that you saw the light at the end and enjoyed Secret Wars.
I loved Secret Wars. That was great. It made sense of everything, and I really enjoyed it. Now, of course, all I have left is Hickman's second Shield book. then I guess I have to make the choice if I want to read any of the Battle World books, which I'm really trying hard not to. Because isn't there like 40 of them?
There's a fuck ton. Yeah, I don't want to I don't want to force your hand, but there's a lot of really good ones.
God damn you, Riley.
I know. I would say like I'd have to look at all of them, but there's at least a few of them are like really, really good. Like I think Siege, which I believe was by Kieran Gillen, that one was really good and actually plays into the main plot. And then Thor's by Jason Aaron is good, and that actually plays into the plot of Jason Aaron's ongoing Thor run. And then Weird World by Jason Aaron is good, and that one's just, it stands on its own. It really doesn't tie it into anything, but it has artwork by Mike Del Mundo, so you should just read that anyway. And those are the three that really I remember very well. So I guess they stood out the most. I know there's a ton of other ones, like the Infinity Gauntlet one by Dustin Weaver was really good. So if you wind up enjoying Shield, it's the same artist. The all the X-Men ones were pretty good, but that's coming from me. I don't know. There was a lot of good stuff. I could probably run through all of them and try and recall, like, you know, rate them on a scale from shit to great, and kind of tell you which ones to pick up and which ones to ignore. But honestly, when I was reading them as they were coming out, I was so incredibly surprised to find that I enjoyed all of them, and there was maybe one of them that I thought was bad, and I don't even remember which one it was. So sorry to potentially make you spend money.
Grown.
Another thing that Jess hates. Having to spend money.
Oh no, I love doing that. I hate when my wife finds out. That's what I hate.
My wife is still in recovery mode from spending so much on the Nordstrom anniversary sale that I mentioned, I think sometime last month or something. And so I was like, hey, I buy all these video games that you wind up playing. You should buy a video game for us sometime. And she's like, I can't afford that. I'm like, okay, so I can. Someone's got to entertain the family, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You need to buy those albums by Ovulation Window.
What you were gonna mention some out of print books.
Oh,
that
well,
you just learned about.
Well, Kemi's in the talk, and Kemi's actually better at out of print books than I am. Kemi's one of the Omnipups, and he alerted me to the fact that, and I don't think I had been paying attention, Avengers 1 and 2 Omnis by Stan Lee and Roy Thomas, those are out of print. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is out of print again, Omnibus. Fantastic Four 3 Omnibus is now out of print. So those were the surprise Omnis that were out of print that I did not know about. And of course, X-Men, Chris Claremont, Jim Lee, X-Men 1 and 2, which I have Legion in the middle of for some reason. I don't think you can see it. I don't know.
I can see it. I
can you?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You also have those books in front of Uncanny, which also doesn't make any sense.
Where should they be? On the other side of Uncanny?
Yeah, and if you have the other like oversized hardcovers, like Fall of the Mutants and stuff like that, like those come out. You're a mess, man. I swear to God, I'm gonna have to come out there one day and just fix it.
Those are down here with oversized books.
Now, I mean, that's a aesthetic choice that you can make, and it's not wrong.
Right, but those are, I admit freely that these are out of order too.
But I mean, putting those apart from them, it's like, you know, you're separating the Omnis from the oversides, and that makes sense. That's not how I have it,
right? Because
I sometimes forget the order, and I'll be like, wait, which, and not from the Claremont stuff. The Claremont stuff I have just embedded in my brain, like the order of all those hardcovers. But the stuff after Claremont, I keep forgetting which order some of those go in.
Hmm.
Speaking of X-Men Omnibus editions,
Yeah.
last week, last week, Marvel had released 2 X-Men Omnibus editions, the X-Men Revolution by Chris Claremont and the X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga Omnibus, also by Chris Claremont, just a much earlier run. And that leads me into something else that I hate.
Yeah.
Why the fuck does that book exist? Like, I understand. Okay, so the Dark Phoenix Omnibus collects the entirety of the Dark Phoenix Saga plus a little bit of stuff that comes beforehand, a couple of extra things. And it's the first book that collects all of that material in one package. So if you're just, for some reason, a really huge fan of the Dark Phoenix Saga by itself and don't care about the rest of Claremont's X-Men, then yes, that would be a choice for you to get. But most people who are a fan of Dark Phoenix are also just big fans of Claremont's X-Men in general, and they're going to get all of the Claremont X-Men Omnis, like myself and many other X-Men shills like I am that just buy everything. But even myself as a shill of the X-Men who buys everything, including X-Men Revolution by Claremont, I skipped on Dark Phoenix because there's no point in double dipping something entirely for absolutely no point. I said there was no point twice in a row. Anyway.
So you're double dipping on no point.
Exactly. That's how little of a point there is. And there's also an oversized hardcover of the Dark Phoenix Saga already, and the Omnibus collects a little bit more material than that does, but that one really like rubbed me the wrong way. Just a serious money grab, just in relation to a movie that was supposed to, I think was supposed to have been coming out soon or already came out, and now is just indefinite if it's even going to come out. So cool. Thanks, Marvel. But I can't complain too much because it's like, you can take it one of two ways. I know, because I know that there's not a limit to how many Omnis they can print. So it's not like if they print a shitty omnibus that's taking up a slot that could have been a better one. That's not a matter of fact. They just printed a stupid book that I'm not buying. So the good side is I'm just not buying it. I don't have to spend money on something that otherwise, if it was a different book, I probably would have bought it. So yeah, it's like I'm upset that it happened, but I'm glad I don't have to spend money on it. And that's kind of the way I look at it whenever they like release a bunch of solicits and it's not a ton of stuff that I'm excited about, and it's like reprints of books I already have or omnis of series I don't really care about, or double dipping books that I don't need. I'm just like, okay, well, I don't have to spend money for a couple months. That's good. I can buy older books that I wanted.
Right on, man. Hey, and Dave K, I do read my Omnis. I just got done telling you that I just got done with the Hickmanathon, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I read in 2 months. How many of you read, Dave?
How many have you read in 2 months?
Yeah, Dave.
I've read 0 in 2 months.
Oh, well, that's good. I know. I'm just kidding you, Dave.
I'm rather impressed though. Reading 5 of them that quickly.
They were really good. I really loved them.
Shit.
Whoop! Major malfunction. Danger! Danger!
She knocked over my box that my computer is sitting on, and now she's still trying to eat all the popcorn. The packing cleaner. No, move! And she's deaf, so I can't get mad at her. I think she got one.
Uh-oh, it sounds like it. Yeah, my dog ate a couple and she lived.
She ate a couple before, and she definitely lived. I mean, obviously she lived. She's here, but I guess they taste good. I might have to have some.
You're probably gonna have to dip it in salsa.
I've got some salsa. What else were we talking shit about today?
See, ordering books and not reading them. The Dark Phoenix saga. Gosh, I don't know. You had to go to work, so we got kind of short. If there was any news, I know that Red Rose got cast as Batwoman or whatever her name is. I'm sure someone will correct me in the chat. What's her name? Rose. Somebody was an LGBTQ LMNOP character or person, and she's going to be one in Batwoman on the CW, which I'm actually kind of interested in seeing Batwoman. Ruby Rose, there it is. Thank you, Kevin.
Ruby Red.
Ruby Red Rose.
Ruby Red Grapefruit.
Yeah, so that was some news.
I'm super behind on all of the CW shows. Like,
so am I.
I think I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons of Arrow, and I watched the first season of The Flash. And it's not that I didn't like any of them. It's just, it's such a commitment to stay on top of them, especially now that you have Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, which apparently is really good, Legend of Tomorrow, Black Lightning. That's 5 shows. I just counted off the top of my head, not to mention, like, all the Marvel stuff and the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
I can't even keep up with the Netflix shows. I've watched Daredevil seasons 1 and 2, Jessica Jones 1, and Luke Cage 1, and then I've watched like a third of The Punisher, and that's it. I can't keep up. It's too much. I have other things. Like, if I keep up with all those shows, I'll never get to read.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I have been putting off finishing Star Trek Discovery because I just don't want it to end. But I'm going to try and finish it up like this weekend. I keep saying that. I think I said that last week, this weekend. But I just don't want it to end. But then I got to get to see Legion, which I loved last year, and I hear this year's even crazier.
Yeah, I haven't watched the 2nd season of Legion at all either, which disappoints me because I also loved the 1st season.
Yeah, and then I'm a couple years, couple seasons. I don't even know what season Flash is on. I watched the first 2 seasons, so I started the 3rd, and I just stalled out. And the only thing I'm up to date on Netflix is listening to the soundtracks. I love the soundtracks to the Netflix shows, but that's all I do is play the soundtracks and read comic books. If I watched all these TV shows, as you say, I'd never have time for comics. And that's all I'm reading.
Like, I spend, like, here's my day. I wake up at 5. I leave for work at 6:30. I get to work at 7. I leave from work at 6. I get home at 6:30, and then I go back to bed at 11. So I have from 6:30 to 11. That's my time of stuff. And 6:30 to about 7:30 is eating dinner and cleaning up the kitchen. So effectively, I have like what, 3.5 hours each night. I can use that 3.5 hours to read as many comics as I can humanly get through, or I can watch like 3 or 4 episodes of a show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's and on my off days, if it's an off day where I'm at home by myself, then, oh, don't eat that. Come on. If it's an off day where I'm at home by myself, I'll usually plan to do something. Like, I'll be like, I'm going to read all these and I'm going to do this. And then something happens. Like last Thursday, I was off and I had lots of plans. And then I think New Solicits came out. And I was like, well, those plans just went out the window. Because I'm just going to be sitting at home, looking at all the New Solicits and adjusting all of my maps for like possible later books. according to what solicits just came out. So yeah, I'm so easily deterred. And then I always like bring my stuff to work and I'm like, okay, it's not going to be a busy day. I might be able to read a few things. I might be able to get something done. And then I will read like, that just reminded me, I left 2 books at work. I left them in my desk. Fuck. Anyway, so I'll read like 1 chapter of something and then I'll get distracted by work stuff and then I don't get to keep reading. And life is so difficult. It's like the Malcolm in the Middle theme song, Life is Unfair.
I love that show. That show was so great. God, I love that show.
What? What do you want? You're going to knock over my computer again. You can't even hear me. She's so mean.
Really?
She's rude. She just wants all the attention. She's been like pushing me and pushing the box with the computer. She's lucky I let her in here after she shat on my carpet those 2 times.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Kemi. I listen to soundtracks on vinyl. There was a question earlier that I thought was a good one. It was way earlier. Oh, it must have been near the beginning of the show now.
Damn. You gotta speak up.
Jess, what is your next readathon after the Cosmic Marvel stuff? That is a good question. I don't know. Cosmic Marvel is going to be this winter, which I think winter starts in November here. So I'll start it in November.
So are you going to do something between now and then?
Yeah, nothing. I'm just going to catch up on everything. I'm going to catch up on all the books that I've just like Superman Exile. Somebody was asking about that. I want to read Superman Exile. I want to read Omnibus. I want to read Carnage Omnibus. I need to read I want to read a bunch of stuff that I'm way behind on.
That's what is difficult sometimes about having like a marathon, so to say, of something. Oh, I got you on.
You did.
Like whenever I was doing all my X-Men reading, which I never 100% made it through. I still need to get through. Most of the way through Claremont, and then I stopped and moved ahead and read some like later stuff just to kind of like get a different time period and wash my brain a little bit from the reading the same type of storytelling for a long time, you know. Sounds like I don't know what is going on out there. Anyway, whenever you do something like that, you get carried away focusing on one thing, and then you lose track of all the other things that are happening, and then you wind up falling behind on all your regular reading. And I think that's the hardest thing about doing like these marathon reads, which like I've done other marathons where I'll run through a bunch of manga, like a long series of manga, for instance. Like when I was reading the series Berserk for the first time, and I bought like all 38 volumes in one go, and I made it from volume 1 through 30. And I was like, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. And then I got to 30, and it started to get to the point where I was like, I really want to read some of these other books that I'm getting. And I took a little break. And it's funny, like it's not funny. It's annoying because then when you take that break, it's like you fall off the wagon. And I didn't read 31 for another year. So it took me until a year later to read the next 8 volumes. And when I did, I was like, oh man, why did I put this off? These were awesome. This was freaking great. But it took me so long because I had like worn myself out. Like I'd fizzled out on that. and I wanted to catch up with some other stuff. But that's always my problem with doing marathon reads, and why I try to like plan them out better, because I don't want to sit there and deprive myself of other things that I might find fun.
Yeah, I want to catch up on a bunch of thin Marvel trades and a bunch of DC thick books. I want to read Batman by Grant Morrison, Batman and Robin by Tomasi. I got a bunch of thick books. Oh, I got to catch up on Rebirth. That's what I got to catch up on.
Well, I'm excited because this Batman by Munch and Jones, which I accidentally got 2 copies of, came out, and that fills in one of the last big gaps in Batman that from like Nightfall until current. So now it like, and they're also doing some like these books, the Dark Knight Detective and Batman Caped Crusader. They're thicker paperbacks that do like material that's not too far before Nightfall, and it's like it's basically DC's working really hard on collecting everything post-Crisis Batman in some sort of edition, and that's really tickling my fancy, because I had already been trying to collect all that, and now they're making it easier.
Yeah, I need to catch up on Rebirth badly. I have a bunch of volume 2s that I am way behind on. That's what I'm going to read after I get done with the Hickmanathon this weekend. Those Rebirth volumes. Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Detective, Harley. Those are the 5.
Those are all good, except I can't speak for Harley. But I mean, I know regardless you're gonna like Harley, so it doesn't matter if I say something about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig it.
Are you getting all the Harley Omnis, even though you already have all that?
Yeah.
Because I know they solicited a second one.
The Palmiotti Connor run?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I'll be getting that. I already gave my hardcovers to Faria.
Did she wind up enjoying those?
Yeah. She even got them signed by Palmiotti and Connor at Baltimore last year. I'm like, wait, what? I'm the fan here. How'd you get those signed? There was like an hour-long wait in line, and I was exhausted, and she stood in line and got them signed by those guys.
Damn you might be the fan, but she's fangirl.
She is fangirl.
She'll go to all the lengths.
There was a question about 7 Soldiers, which I think we both are in agreement we're getting the Omni.
Yes.
Yeah, that's oversized, and the hardcovers are just standard size. So I've come completely full circle. I want, or 180. I've done a 180. I want the Omnibus now. I wanted to let go of my hardcovers and get the Omni because it's oversized. That was a question earlier in the chat.
I never had the hardcovers. I only had the old paperback editions. So I was very happy to let go of those because I had been considering getting the old standard-sized hardcovers for a while. Did I just freeze? What the fuck? Millie, what did you do?
Rick Nelson, 7 Soldiers is by Grant Morrison. I don't know if I think it's a good blind buy. You need to know a little bit about what's going on kind of ahead of time in that book, if that makes sense. Riley may be able, if he gets back on, he may be able to better explain it, but it's in the middle of Morrison's whole run with like Final Crisis and Batman and everything else, and so 7 Soldiers is I don't know if I'd recommend it as a good blind buy. It's a great book, I love it, but I also sort of knew what to expect. Am I explaining that right, Riley?
Yeah, Millie's trying to tug of war with one of my bath towels. Man, she is just a pain in my butt tonight. So, like you said, it's part of Morrison's just bigger encompassing DC Universe story, which you can look at kind of like Hickman's story. It went through Secret Warriors, Fantastic Four, Avengers, and ended up with Secret War. In a similar fashion, Morrison did the same thing, but his took a lot longer to tell. You can look at it as having started earlier than this, but usually people will point you to JLA first. His JLA run, specifically stuff towards the end of it, introduces some concepts that wind up playing a bigger part in his later stuff. The end of his JLA run, he did a miniseries, or not a miniseries, he did the first 3 issues of JLA Classified, where he introduces this, I guess, an alien race that winds up being important in Seven Soldiers. And hey, back off. I need you to back off. Yeah, so they wind up being important in Seven Soldiers of Victory. And that miniseries, Seven Soldiers of Victory, also wound up being kind of like something that leads into Final Crisis. Final Crisis, of course, was also coming off of things that happened in Batman. So it was like all these different things coming together into one mega story. And then his Batman stuff continued forward. And then he did stuff like Multiversity later on, which was a follow-up of sorts to Final Crisis. So it's not the best blind buy in the world. I don't remember entirely, but I think that I originally read Seven Soldiers before I read his JLA stuff.
Yeah, I did too.
And I still enjoyed it a lot. It's just those, like the last issue where it's like bringing everything together. That was where I was like, what? Because it's showing you like the aliens or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, where, what, why, what, when? And so then I went back and did my research, and I read the other stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I really liked it because the whole idea is like there's 7 different characters, and it's a team, but they're not really a team because they never meet each other until the final issue. So each of these miniseries is taking place completely separate from one another, focusing on these different characters. So Shining Knight, Bulleteer, the Defender, I think, or Manhattan Guardian is one of them. Clarion the Witch Boy, Frankenstein. So all these different characters have their own 4-issue miniseries, and then they all culminate together into one. But each miniseries has its own separate story, which was really good. Some of them better than others. Zatanna had one. Miracle Man has one. So yeah, it's a really solid read. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it, maybe not as a blind buy unless you already know that you enjoy either some of these characters or you like Grant Morrison as a creator. Then you'll probably enjoy it. But the good news is it's only a $75 book, so you'll be able to get it for like $32.50 if you order it first week on In Stock Trades, which in my opinion is a really, really good price for an omnibus for that much material.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's 28, 30 issues. So at discount price, you get it for about $1 an issue.
Nice. Riley, here's a question Leighton Watson's dying to ask you. Did you get the new 3rd omnibus for the Wolfman Perez run of Teen Titans?
Yep.
How's the binding on them?
You gotta reach. Now, if you have the old ones, the new one looks really different from any of the old ones. Also, the binding obviously is going to be upgraded from the old. If you have those old ones, you know that they just snap on you. Like they will not stay open at all, even from like the middle of the book. I remember reading the old first volume of the new Teen Titans books, and I had to hold it down. But it's not the greatest looking, binding in the world. It's not. It doesn't open the widest of all the books in the world, but this is a lot better. and it's a really solid book, and they fixed the issues as far as like skipping material because it's not by the same artist, which was a big shitty thing that they did on the original edition of the third book. And they solicited the fourth one, so they're officially moving forward past the original trilogy of releases, and hopefully they keep going and probably wind up taking a solid 10 books at least, because there's a fuck ton of material.
10? You think there's going to be 10 books?
I feel like at least 10 books.
Wow.
Like, I could be exaggerating because I might be counting not only New Teen Titans, but also other books that followed New Teen Titans, also from Marv Wolfman. But there's a fair amount of material, especially when you consider that they're not making these books super thick like the Johns Teen Titans or the Johns Green Lantern. They're pretty small omnis in comparison. So it's going to take a decent amount of volumes.
That was the question I was trying to find. Are you excited about Green Lantern being written by Morrison?
No, I think Morrison's awful.
Yeah, that's a yes from Riley and a yes from me.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. One thing that I really love about Morrison is he makes things sound really like simple when he talks. Like he's like, oh, it's gonna be, what did he say? Like CSI in space, something like that. He gives you this really simple concept, and it's like cool. And at the beginning of the run, it might seem simple, but I know that by less than a year in, our heads are going to be spinning. And it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to thank him for it.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to see Morrison back in superhero comics, because I love the stuff that he does outside of superheroes, but I think that he has such powerful ideas for what superheroes are and what they can be, and he implants those ideas into the writing that he does so seamlessly, and it expands on the horizons of superhero comic telling so much that I think that the industry is at a loss when he's not working on something.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Let's see. There's Matt Miranda in the chat trying to talk us into watching The Wire.
I don't have time for this stuff. I've got too many books to read.
Right. So just stop right there, Matt. We don't got time for it.
I've got to play my Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. My wife is still playing. I can hear her. She went to go work out, but she came back early, like within 15 minutes. So I'm guessing the class was canceled, and she's playing Donkey Kong in the other room.
She's coming up on the final boss.
I think she's still on that level. She just died.
Oh, you can just hear it.
You can hear the fanfare. It like the music will stop and then.
Donkey Kong 64 kicked my ass on the N64.
I love that game, and I was telling her because this is the first DK that she's played, Tropical Freeze on the Switch. She's never played a Donkey Kong before, and I figured she'd like it because she likes challenging games, and she likes platforming games too. And I told her yesterday, I was like, man, or not yesterday, the other day, I was like, man, you would have loved Donkey Kong on Nintendo 64 because it was like Mario 64 but with monkeys
and jungles.
Yeah. And you get Link Kong and Tiny Kong and stuff like that.
Yeah. I did play that game all the way to the finish, but I had to call in a friend to help me on one level in Donkey Kong 64.
One of my friends got every single of those golden bananas. Like there was like 201 that you could get.
Oh wow, really?
He got all of them and all the secret ones, and I was like, God damn, dude.
Oh, no, I had to call in a friend's kid to help me. We were good friends at the time, and this kid was, let's see, when was this? When was the N64? Like back in the 90s?
Yeah, it
I want to
was
say.
like
Let's see.
96 to 2001 or something.
Yeah, I want to say Kelly was 8 when we first got it, so that would have put it at 99 or 2000. So Ryan would have been 8 or 9, and so our friends were over with him, and I said, "Dude, have you played Donkey Kong?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Come help me with this level. I cannot get on top of this damn thing and deal with it." And so he came down. Of course, he was like, bonk, and got me right on top. And then I could do it from there. It was this giant cube in the middle, and I just could not jump up on this thing. I remember that. Pissed me off.
I don't remember things that we hate.
Yes.
I
a
don't
lot of
remember
those
that in
games.
particular. I remember a lot about that game. I remember one of the things I really liked about that game, and what I really like about a lot of the 3D platformers like that, was the hub world.
Right.
Like in Mario 64, it was Peach's Castle, and in this one, it was Kong Island, and you'd explore in the hub world, and you could find secret things in there. And I always thought it was so cool when you would because Kong Island was shaped like Donkey Kong's head, and you could get into different crevices in his head and find a secret banana or a secret cave with stuff inside of it. And that was always the coolest shit to me.
Yeah. And Banjo-Kazooie. I love that game too.
Oh my god, Banjo-Kazooie was my shit.
Same with my daughter, and I played that game forever.
You know which game I had to get help on was, and this is weird, on GoldenEye on the N64. One of the last levels, I don't remember what it was called. I think it was called Control or something. And there's a part where Boris is the guy that's like, I am invincible. I believe that was his name. But he's working on the computer, and you have to protect him. I believe that's what happens. He's on the computer, and you have to kill everyone else. And for some reason, I could not do it. I fucking couldn't. And I could beat anything else in the game, but that one level was just impossible for me, and I had to get help on it. And of all people that helped me out, my dad, who never plays anything but football and baseball games, was able to beat that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how. And I just I got really frustrated, and I was like, I guess I just asked my dad. I was like, "Dad, can you help me?" And he's like, "I don't know how to play this." And I was like, I mean, I'm not doing well at it, so what does it hurt for you to try? And he beat it, and I was like, "What the hell?" So he beat it, and I died a couple times after, and he would keep doing it. He beat it multiple times, so it wasn't like it was just a fluke. He beat it 3 times before I finally beat the rest of the level. Oh man, that was a good game.
I love that game. That's another game that 9-year-olds kicked my ass in multiplayer, because they all knew where to find the golden gun and just kill me right away.
All the games that we're talking about, Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, they're all made by Rare.
Oh, right.
So they're all the same developer, which basically just means we really liked Rare.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Conker's Bad Fur Day?
I did not.
I didn't play the whole game, but I got it years after it came out. Because when it came out, I was still a kid, and it was rated M. But it's another Rare game, and it's basically a mature version of Banjo-Kazooie. He fights shit monsters, and he curses a lot and stuff like that.
Ew.
Yeah. It's a giant singing pile of shit, and you fight it.
I don't know that appeals to me. Oh, you know what was... what game was really hard? I think there was a race in Donkey Kong where you had to race. Wasn't there a race in that game, or a couple races?
I know there was Diddy Kong Racing. It was a whole other game.
I'm trying to think of an N64 game that I had that had a race in it, where you had to race, like a timed race. Yeah. Or maybe it was Banjo-Kazooie. Were there races in that? No, I have a feeling it was Donkey Kong because the little chipmunk or whatever said, "That's so funny, you thought you could beat me." I'm like, "Arr!"
I have a feeling that you got a lot more entertainment out of the N64 than your daughter did.
Yeah, she had to do homework and stuff while I was down in the basement playing the N64.
She come back, like, Dad, why did you beat the level? I was gonna play it.
How's that homework coming, sweetie? Just a sec, I'll be up to help you in a minute.
Just one more level.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Donkey Kong had a racing thing. Jake Knapp wants to know if you've read Farmhand yet.
Yes. Yeah, the first issue. I don't know if there's a second issue, but yes, I read the first issue. It's Rob Guillory, the artist on Chew, on a new series that he's writing and drawing for Image. I think it's a mini series. I'm not sure. Either way, basically, the family goes to visit their like grandpa who works at this farm, but it's like a high tech facility, and they like grow genetically modified stuff. And then it turns out that they like grow things to replace like human limbs and things like that. And it gets really freaky, and it has that really nice kind of comedic tone in the artwork that Rob Guillory is great at.
Yeah.
It was really, really solid first issue. If you're a fan of Chew, I definitely recommend it. It had some good kind of gory moments in it, some good humor, all around just a solid issue. I don't know if the second issue has come out yet or not, but the first issue is definitely worth checking out.
The chat is saying second issue just came out yesterday.
Okay, I haven't.
Today's Thursday, right? So it would have come out yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any of this week's new issues. I still haven't read all of last week's new stuff, so I'm a little bit behind. What I've been excited for, and this, I know other people are going to have different opinions on this, but I've been excited that the Hunt for Wolverine miniseries are all ending this month, and next month we're going to see the real Wolverine, the OG, back in action, or at least coming back in action. Why are you
Nice. I thought he already was. That's how far behind I am.
Why are you trying to eat my pants? She's trying to eat my pants as if I'm not wearing them. You are the weirdest dog. I think she's getting stir crazy because she's locked in here. Ow. Okay, I'm letting her out. The only reason I had her in here with me is because my wife was leaving for her workout, but now she's not working out. She's playing Donkey Kong. Get out of here. Crazy dog. All right, now that the ladies are gone, we can finally talk like men.
Riley, what creative team do you want to see on the upcoming Uncanny X-Men book?
Jonathan Hickman and Assad Ribic.
That was quick.
And I've thought about it.
Oh, okay, good.
Jonathan Hickman and Assad Ribic, and like it should be him with a rotating group of artists in each arc, so that a rotating group of artists for each arc or so that he doesn't have to just have random filler artists. So you can have like Assad Ribic and Dustin Weaver and I don't know, throw a Kubert in there or something. Just have like 3 really solid artists. Mike Del Mundo. What is Del Mundo? Oh, he's doing Thor. Never mind. So yeah, 3 really solid artists, preferably ones that Hickman's worked with before, so you know that they have a good understanding of each other's style, and just rotate them out every like 3 or 4 issues. Have another one come in and do a few. That would be my dream team for the upcoming Uncanny X-Men. If that happens, like, I might die of bliss. So
you'll die a happy man, though.
Yeah, if you like me, you might hope that Hickman does not start writing the Uncanny X-Men.
Because you'll die.
Because I will die.
Have you read those Buffy hardcovers?
I've read the season 8 and half of season 9.
Are they good?
I really like them. I know a lot of people have differing opinions on them, but I really like them. Megan is calling me, so I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm sure it's to come get the dog out of her hair. So, chat, what's going on? Phenomena. Do 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 do. Phenomena. Do 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 do. Phenomena. Do 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 do. Simonson's Orion is awesome. Jake Knapp.
She's on the final boss.
Oh, so she can't have the dog around?
I had to put Millie up, but she was like, "Why'd you let her out? She's eating my pants while I'm wearing them."
Jess, what are the Image Deluxes you didn't really care for? I can tell you that right now. I did not care for Cowboy Ninja Viking. Did not care for that. And there's one other that I sold, and I can't think of what it was, but it was rare. And I sold it for cover in the group. Gosh darn it. What was that? It had like a green cover. Oh, shoot. I can't think of the name of it now. But it was very nice.
Was it Aphrodite something or other?
Yeah. Aphrodite 9 or 1X.
I remember you not liking that.
I did not care for that at all.
And it didn't that have some like cheesecake art in it too?
Oh yeah.
That's hard to believe, man. Just turning down the cheesecake?
Yeah, it had eye candy art, but the story just did nothing for me. I felt like I was missing a big chunk of something else. I think that it had a crossover with CrossGen or Gen 19 or Gen Force or one of those things, and I was just lost in it. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Well, maybe you should have read Aphrodite 1 through 8 first.
That I should have done.
I don't know anything about Aphrodite 9, so I can't talk about anything.
I'll talk about The Wake by Scott Snyder. That is the worst ending in comics. I was really frustrated by it.
You know what is annoying with that book is like when it was coming out in singles, the first half of it was so different. So they re-released the first half of it as one chunk in like it wasn't even a trade. It was one of those like thick square bound $8 dealies. And it was like a horror book for the first like 4 or 5 issues, however long. I don't remember how long. I think it was 8 or 10. The first half of it was straight up horror, and then it turned into this weird like sci-fi, and it went from being really dark and gloomy to being bright. Like the artwork completely did a 180. So it was kind of like. It was kind of off-putting just in the way that the tone of the book changed.
The ending just felt rushed and made no sense to me and was one of the biggest letdowns I've had in comics. And I'm a super big fan of Scott Snyder, so I was really disappointed in that.
Yeah, I remember. I enjoyed it to a degree, but I wish that it had continued having that same, because the first half of it was really cool horror stuff, and then it just went off the rails. Also, Sean Murphy is fucking great.
Yeah.
So I was happy to have him on art, but the turn in tone and like the bright colors were kind of strange to me.
Yeah, Yarny's saying I like iZombie ending wasn't great though. That ending was rushed because the book got canceled and they only had like 3 issues to tie up all these loose knots. So I can at least explain the ending was the book got canceled and It was just a rushed ending because they had to.
Yep.
Snyder's books almost always have the same exact theme, facing our fears and having the opportunity to be brave. Good theme, but he hammers that same nail over and over. Interesting observation, Taylor.
What book does that?
He said Snyder's books do.
Oh, Snyder's books. I thought you said Spanish books, and I was like...
No, Snyder's books.
Like Don Quixote?
One book I liked of Snyder's and Jim Lee's that other people didn't like, and I thought the ending was fine, was Superman Unchained.
I honestly don't even remember much about it.
I would like to read that book again because I liked it so much.
I remember they made a huge deal out of the big ol' like poster that came in one of the issues. Like
I don't remember that.
Jim Lee made like a page. It was like a two-fold poster, so it was like 4 pages in size. And I think it detached from the issue, so a lot of people would buy 2 copies so they could have one to take the poster out and one to keep it.
Oh, I wonder if that's in the hardcover.
I don't know. I can check.
Okay. I can check too.
Probably be easy to spot because those things usually stick out like a sore thumb. I want to say it's not because I can't. It's not automatically visible. Man, I don't even remember who the villain was in this.
Jess, have you started reading Angela, Asgard's Assassin by Kieran Gillen? I haven't. I just got it earlier this week, and I had to finish my Hickmanathon. So that's one of the books I'll be reading when I get done this weekend with the Hickmanathon.
Sure. It was this page. This was, if I'm recalling correctly, this was a big old poster that you could pull out of issue 1.
Oh, nice looking.
And it might have been double-sided with that previous spread on the other side. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure. And I used to have the single issue. I don't know if I still have it because I barely have any single issues right now. But yeah, that was, if I recall correctly, it was a big-ass poster that you could pull out of your comic. Man, I don't remember this at all. I don't know who is this? What is that? I don't remember. Like,
I don't remember it either. I just remember liking it.
Was I asleep when I read this book?
I know. I think I'm going to be reading that soon.
I don't remember that at all.
What are some books that are the same quality of Kingdom Come? That is a great book. I would say Marvels by Busiek and Ross. Same artist as Kingdom Come. And my personal favorite is Absolute Justice, which I think is just as good.
I don't have any suggestions. I'll just be honest.
Okay, I gotta go get a Kleenex because my nose is running. I'll be right back. You can hold the chat down now.
Okay, I'm not even looking at the chat. Yeah. I think that a good answer for what would be good, maybe on the Marvel side of things, aside from Marvels, and I haven't read it, so I'm not speaking from it, my own experience, but the Earth X stuff seems like it would be a good kind of Marvel version of, you know, alternate future with different types of stuff. And that has 2 Omnis coming out soon, Alpha and Omega. Taylor Brown asking about 100 Bullets and what we thought about it. If you're in the 60s, you said you're enjoying it, but can be too convoluted and confusing. This whole room could have run could have been much shorter. It could have been shorter, but obviously Azzarello wants it to be 100 issues because it's called 100 Bullets. So there's the issue right there. I really liked 100 Bullets. For me, it was like volume 2 or 3. There was a point in the series where something happened, and it was like the first point where you start to realize that everything is tied up. And that's when I was like, literally, like, stepped back from the book and was like, okay, this is a book for me. So I was getting a little worried that I wasn't going to like it at first. And from there, it just was kept being good until the end. If you're in the 60s and you're not so sure about it, then it might not be a book for you. Will I pick up those Earth X Omnis? Yes, I will. I probably shouldn't, but I will.
Was the story good?
Of Earth X?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I've never read it. I've been recommended it. Here's something that I notice a lot. This happens a lot. So people will talk about something a lot, and maybe they don't talk about it that much, but I notice it a lot. And then that something is then announced for an omnibus, and then you start seeing all these other people pop up and start talking about how it sucked ass. So that happened to me for the whole Earth X trilogy. I've seen a lot of people talk about, like years ago, to me, tell me. They asked me, hey, have you read Earth X? Because it's really good. You should read Earth X. A lot of different people coming out of different places saying Earth X was good. Earth X is great. You should read Earth X. And then the Earth X Omnibus gets announced. I'm like, oh, cool, an Omnibus edition. I'm definitely going to grab that. I've been recommended this so many times. I'll finally get to read it and find out why people are recommending it to me. And then I start seeing all these people like, Earth X was dumb. Earth X sucked. Why are they releasing an omnibus for it? So then I'm like, do you people only come out of the woodworks to be negative to other people who are excited, or what? And there's something I hate.
Yeah, we haven't talked about hate enough.
I was just bringing it around, man, so we can start talking about what we hate more.
I hate that I think I'm allergic to ice cream. I had ice cream the other day, and I've been sick ever since.
What are our thoughts on Bendis taking over Superman and Action?
I'll have to wait till I actually read it, which I haven't done yet.
I read the Man of Steel miniseries, and I thought it was bullshit, and it was boring, and I'm really disappointed in basically Bendising up the Superman books after we could have still had Tomasi working on Superman, or they could have gotten any other writer. But of all the characters that I feel like DC could have let Bendis taken the reins on, I'm not saying it was a bad idea for Bendis to go to DC, but they could have given him a lot of different characters, and they chose to give him Superman, which I think is just the opposite of who they should have given him.
Let's see. Lloyd Wong said, Jess, do you ever feel like throwing caution to the wind and just ripping all the wrapping off your Omnis? No, I don't. I like keeping them wrapped. It's like a Christmas present every time I open one. So I don't want to have a bunch of naked, unwrapped Omnis. I like having a bunch of them wrapped until I read them. Maybe I should do a Deadpool readathon. I certainly have enough Deadpool books. Not Deadpool by Daniel Way.
I'll get a mouth or an earful next week when that comes in the mail. I like Dave K's comment. He said he hates staff meetings at work that go off topic and last an extra 45 minutes. I started to think he was talking about us talking about random shit all night. So I thought that was funny. And then he said, then you have to stay late to finish the work you didn't get done during the staff meeting. And it just, I feel that so heavily. And it's not necessarily staff meeting type stuff. Just when I have everything in my day in order and planned out perfectly, and I know exactly what I need to do when, so that I can get everything done so I can leave on time. And then something happens and something gums up the works, and I wind up having to do something stupid on the front end, and I don't get to finish anything on the back end. And then I wind up sitting there 30 minutes after I'm supposed to leave, writing emails that should have been done an hour prior.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate it because I can already be getting home, and instead I'm sitting at my desk sending out stupid fucking emails.
Gosh, I have a lot of books I can read between now and my my Cosmic Readathon, which somebody pointed out winter starts December 21st. So, but I feel like winter starts when it starts to get cold here. It doesn't necessarily get cold here in November, maybe December.
Someone always has to bring up like the actual first days of each season. And you're like, I'm not talking about the real first day of each season. Like,
yeah, summer for me was June 1st. That's when I started it.
Summer, yeah, like the beginning of June, late May maybe, is when summer starts. Like when I walk outside and I feel like my head's in the oven, that's when summer starts.
Yeah, Memorial Day to me is when summer starts, and Labor Day is when it ends. That's just how it's always been.
Nash Villains said my job sounds miserable, but hey, I get paid real good to do stupid shit. So that's all I'm working on. That's all I care about, honestly.
What are some underrated or underused characters that you feel deserve a good push to become its own series or mini-series? Like Plastic Man and Hawkman books have been pretty good so far.
Animal Man should always have a book.
Yeah, so should Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think A-Man and Swampy are two of my favorite DC characters, and I feel like they deserve to like always at least have some sort of mini series once a year, or once every 18 months, so we can keep having them in rotation, because they're just such interesting characters, and I'd love to see more I'd love to see more different creators taking a shot at them. With Nash Villains, I'd love to get paid to do cool shit, and so half of what I do is pretty decent, but it's not so easy as just running outside and asking someone to pay me to do cool shit.
Get paid to do cool shit.
I mean, I do this, but this isn't paying the bills.
Yeah, Batman by Grant Morrison should still be in stock on Amazon.
Yeah, it's not out of print yet. It's just that IST has run out of stock a couple times.
Yeah.
But they've been getting new stock in them, like pretty much constantly, keeping it there.
Finally read the book one of Why the book one of Why the Last Man. Can't wait to read the rest. That's really interested in how the TV show adapts it and how it's received in this day and age. Yeah, I loved Why the Last Man. That will be interesting.
I think it's going to incite some commentary, and they're going to change a few things about it to kind of make it fit.
Yeah, I don't know that all the women will have their left breast cut off or whatever so they can shoot the arrow better.
It's going to be interesting to see the way that gets adapted, and I'll be interested to see if it turns out quite as good as the comic. I get concerned about comic adaptation titles on TV now, because The Walking Dead kind of paved the way, and that series is bullshit now. And I worry that other comic book adaptation series are just going to get lazy and not try as hard to like actually be good. The first two seasons of Preacher, though, that I watched, they diverge a lot from the comic, keeping the main point, diverging quite a bit. And I actually really like that, because they do a really good job of keeping it interesting for someone who's already read the series to want to keep watching and seeing how it's going to play out there. So just kind of to give an example of a comic TV show that I actually think is pretty decent.
I thought American Gods was great too. That's what Chris M says. I loved American Gods.
Do we feel that Marvel and DC are doing more quality work currently? So much from all the big three, I can't keep up. I've been saying that Marvel's been doing a lot more quality work for a while than people really give them credit for, because there's such a big camp of people that are vocal about the different things that they try to do. And we've talked about this before, and oftentimes they just speak before actually looking, and people listen without trying for themselves. And it's created a lot of issue in the past with people thinking like most of the output was crap when it wasn't. And now there's less controversial stuff, like as far as titles with other characters taking on their mantles of the main character. So there's not as much controversy, and not as many people just flat out in the beginning of a series just saying it's going to be bad before touching it. So they are still putting out a lot of great stuff, and maybe even more than what they had been before. DC, I'm getting more and more bored with. I was excited to try all of those new Age of Heroes books that spun out of Metal, but most of them were trash.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I wound up honestly just forgetting what they are. Like I'll read an issue and then I'll get to the next issue and I'll be like, wait, what was this about? What's happening here? And then one of the good ones, the New Challengers, is only going to be a mini series, and then the other, that means the only one that I really enjoy that's going to last possibly is Terrifics, with Jeff Lemire writing Mr. Terrific and Plastic Man and Metamorpho and stuff like that. And they introduced a Metamorpho Pitbull, which is adorable, and I love it. So that book's worth it alone for that fucking Pitbull with the Metamorpho powers.
That does sound cool. I have about 5 minutes left in me.
Oh, good, because I got about 5 minutes left in me.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, before we sign off, we'll announce this last 5 minutes with InStockTrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions. Loyalty discounts can add 2%. They have sales that add 3%. OmniBros discount code every quarter. And free shipping for orders over $50. Fabulous customer service. Fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
I think my wife might have beat the game.
Oh, is she just shrieking?
It sounds like something different is happening, so I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, so that was our show on random things. So I hope everyone else had fun listening to us ramble about random things. I think tomorrow you and Louise are doing a show. What's tomorrow's show about?
Fantastic Four.
Oh, man, we didn't do the jingle.
We can do it right now.
I forgot what my lyrics were.
You forgot where your lyrics were? Pull up your chat with Emily because you put them in there.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, and you were talking shit, and then she liked it.
Not to Emily, I didn't talk shit.
You talked shit to me in front of Emily.
I did not.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
All right, so I don't have a tune. I didn't even think about what tune I can say my lines to, but my little rhyme was, and I made this in 2 minutes, so if it sucks, I'm sorry. IST is the shop for me. Price is so great, they make me say we. An amazing service from Emily. Amazing packing and shipping is free. That's why I shop at IST. So it's
That's
more like
not bad.
It's like a chant. It's like a chant.
It's a chant. Yeah, it's not a jingle. It's a chant.
IST is the shop for me. Price is so great, they make me say we. Like, you got to chant it.
Yeah, I dig that.
All right, your turn.
Okay, mine set to the tune of Mr. Plow. In stock trades is the place to shop. With prices so low, it'll make your jaw drop. Spend over $50 in the United States. Get your shipping free, which is really great. Extra 2% if you buy frequently with fabulous service. Her name's Emily. Fabulous packaging and frequent sales. Order from IST and get your books in the mail.
Dang, man.
You got a chant and I got a jingle, so we've got it covered.
So now when we're like, when all the Omnibros are together and we're going through some random convention hall, we can all chant, IST is the shop for me. Price is so great, they make me say we. And then you can have a boombox and you can be carrying it, playing your song.
Trades is the place to shop. With price so low, it'll make you rock.
All right, MC.
MC Dog.
MC OmniDog. Well, that's that. Everyone can let us know.
Actually, please don't.
I want to know what people think. I want to know if I won.
Oh, you do?
I want to know. Did I win this one, or are they two? Is it apples and oranges, or am I better, or?
E. Tyler saying, I admit that I don't know how comfortable I will be chanting "we."
You got to get comfortable with yourself. You gotta chant "we," man. I mean, you can change the "we" to "ye" or "g" or "hee," or so, I don't know, but you gotta have the "e."
Because that's what rhymes with Emily.
Yeah, and with IST is a shop for me. Price is so great, they make me say we. Now I'm trying to think of something else that would rhyme with it.
With
price is so great that I drink some tea.
Drink tea.
Price is so great, I gotta go pee.
Okay, we're cutting you off there. They liked
Price
both
is
artists.
so great, and books by Jim Lee.
They liked them both.
All right, well,
It's
I'll
split.
get you next time, Gadget. All right, well, that's that. We're a minute over our supposed thresholds.
All right, everybody, where can they find you, Riley?
You can find me here, you can find me there, and you can find me anywhere. You can find me running to go get to my wife because she wants to talk to me apparently. But you can find me on my on the Facebook page and on the YouTubes by looking up Ryleymo or Omnibus Collector and other stuff like that.
And you can find me on OmniDog's Vault on YouTube and on Instagram, OmniDogs_Vault. Thank you to the great chat. It was wonderful tonight. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Adios, muchachos.